Welcome to our Immigration Briefing program. Today, we're diving into a whirlwind of global and local immigration news that's as varied as the destinations on a world cruise. First up, the UK's eye-watering £5 billion plan to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda has everyone doing a double take. With costs potentially hitting £150,000 per person, it's like paying for a luxury round-the-world cruise for each asylum seeker, only far less pleasant and with a lot more controversy. As the Home Affairs Committee gears up for a deep dive, we're strapping in for what promises to be a bumpy ride. Hopping over the pond, Israel's nudging Canada to label Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization is stirring up quite the geopolitical pot. With Canada playing it cautious, this international episode is more gripping than the latest binge-worthy TV series. Back in the UK, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is facing his own set of challenges, from the Rwanda deportation scheme to a potential smoking ban. It's like he's trying to navigate a political obstacle course with the finesse of a seasoned reality show contestant. Each of these stories, from the high-stakes drama of UK politics to the international intrigue between Israel and Canada, paints a picture of a world grappling with complex immigration issues. Whether it's the financial implications of deportation plans, the delicate dance of diplomatic relations, or the nitty-gritty of domestic policy debates, it's clear we're living in times where the stakes are as high as ever. And just like the best reality shows, we can't wait to see what happens next. So, stay tuned for more detailed coverage on these unfolding stories. Please keep watching for more in-depth content. In the ever-evolving political landscape of the UK and beyond, recent developments have sparked intense debate and scrutiny. The UK government's ambitious plan to deport more than 30,000 asylum seekers to Rwanda over the next 5 years has come under the spotlight, with leaked documents revealing a staggering projected cost of nearly £5 billion, $6.6 billion. According to The Telegraph, this initiative, championed by the UK, aims to incentivize Rwanda to accept higher volumes of migrants, with the cost per asylum seeker potentially reaching up to £150,000. This revelation comes on top of the £370 million previously pledged by Boris Johnson, raising questions about the financial and moral implications of the scheme. The Home Affairs Committee is set to delve into this contentious issue on Monday, potentially sparking further debate and controversy. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, Israel has made a bold appeal to Canada, urging the country to designate Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, as a terrorist organization. This call to action by Israel's ambassador to Canada, Ido Mode, follows Iran's aerial attack on Israel, highlighting the escalating tensions between the two nations. As reported by CBC, the Canadian government has been hesitant to take this step, concerned about the impact on individuals conscripted into the IRGC at low levels. Despite barring high-ranking members of the Iranian regime from entering Canada, the government is still considering whether to list the IRGC, reflecting the complex geopolitical considerations at play. Back in the UK, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is gearing up for a challenging week as Parliament reconvenes after the Easter break. The Independent outlines 2 significant hurdles that Sunak must navigate: the safety of Rwanda, asylum and immigration bill and his proposed smoking ban. The former will determine the fate of the controversial plan to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda, a topic that has already generated considerable debate. The latter, Sunak's smoking ban, will be put to a free vote in the Commons on April 16, testing the Prime Minister's ability to rally support for his policies. These upcoming battles underscore the complex and often contentious nature of governance, as leaders grapple with issues that straddle moral, financial, and political lines. Each of these stories, from the UK's Rwanda deportation scheme to Israel's plea to Canada and Sunak's domestic challenges, reflects the intricate web of global and local politics. As governments and leaders navigate these turbulent waters, the outcomes of these debates and decisions will undoubtedly have far-reaching implications, both within their borders and on the international stage. Whether it's the financial cost of a migration scheme, the designation of a terrorist organization, or the implementation of public health policies, the stakes are high, and the world is watching. In a world where policies and programs are constantly evolving, recent developments from the UK to Europe and even as far as Hong Kong highlight significant shifts in immigration, asylum, and residency schemes. These changes, driven by a mix of political, economic, and social factors, are reshaping the landscape of global mobility. Starting off with the UK's controversial plan to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda, The Independent reports a somewhat chaotic situation. Despite Rwandairs' refusal to transport UK asylum seekers to Kigali, Health Secretary Victoria Atkins confidently claims that flights will commence within weeks. The specifics, including which airline will undertake these flights, remain a mystery. This plan, part of a broader strategy to deter illegal migration, has sparked a heated debate. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's willingness to challenge the UK's obligations under the European Convention on Human Rights underscores the government's determination. The impending parliamentary review of the Safety of Rwanda, Asylum and Immigration Bill, which proposes to disregard foreign court orders, adds another layer of complexity to this contentious issue. Across the Channel, European countries are taking a hard look at their golden visa programs, as reported by The Telegraph. These schemes, designed to attract wealthy non-EU investors by offering residency permits, are facing criticism and clampdowns. Spain, following in the footsteps of Portugal, the Netherlands, the UK, Ireland, and Greece, has announced significant restrictions or the outright closure of its golden visa program. Originally intended to stimulate foreign investment and revitalize housing markets, these programs have instead contributed to housing affordability crises, gentrification, and social discontent. Spain's decision to curb its program, dubbed a total flop, reflects a broader European disillusionment with golden visas. The schemes have been criticized for facilitating corruption, tax evasion, and money laundering, leading to tighter controls and the closure of some programs across the continent. Despite these challenges, alternatives like digital nomad visas are gaining traction, offering a new pathway for remote workers to live in southern European countries. Italy's recent introduction of a digital nomad visa, joining Spain, Portugal, Greece, Malta, and Croatia, signals a shift towards accommodating the modern workforce's flexibility and mobility. On the other side of the globe, Hong Kong is witnessing a dramatic decrease in pupil and teacher emigration, as reported by the South China Morning Post. The last academic term saw a nearly 90% drop in student withdrawals compared to the previous year. This decline coincides with the subsiding wave of emigration, attributed to new visa schemes in Western countries targeting Hong Kong residents. The UK, Canada, and Australia have offered pathways for Hong Kongers to relocate, leading to a significant exodus in recent years. However, the recent stabilization in school enrollments and teacher retention suggests a new phase in Hong Kong's demographic changes. These developments, from the UK's asylum seeker deportation plan to the re-evaluation of golden visa programs in Europe and the changing migration patterns in Hong Kong, reflect a world in flux. As countries navigate the complex interplay of global mobility, economic interests, and social cohesion, the impact of these policy shifts will continue to unfold, reshaping the landscape of international migration and residency in profound ways. In a world where the charm of animation and the complexities of immigration law intertwine, two stories stand out, each offering a unique perspective on contemporary issues. On one hand, we have the delightful tale of Bluey, the Sign, a special episode from the beloved Australian animated children's show, set to air on the Disney Channel on April 14, as reported by Yahoo US. This 28-minute wedding special promises to captivate audiences as Bluey and her sister Bingo take on the roles of flower girls at the wedding of Uncle Rad and Aunt Brady. Fans of the series can look forward to streaming the episodes simultaneously on Disney+, marking a significant moment for the show's followers. On the other side of the spectrum, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation sheds light on a landmark ruling by Australia's High Court in November 2023, which found indefinite immigration detention to be unlawful. This decision overturned 2 decades of legal precedent and was a response to the case of a Rohingya man, known as NZYQ, who had been held in immigration detention for years. The ruling highlighted the punitive nature of indefinite detention imposed by the executive government, sparking a government scramble to reassert control over Australia's borders. In the wake of the High Court's decision, the government was compelled to release 149 detainees who had been held indefinitely. It also moved quickly to introduce emergency legislation aimed at imposing greater surveillance and restrictions on the released detainees. However, these measures faced legal challenges, and the government sought new legislation to jail individuals who refused to cooperate with deportation efforts. The case of NZYQ and the subsequent ruling have ignited a broader debate in Australia about the country's immigration detention system and the treatment of refugees and asylum seekers, with further legal challenges and political debates anticipated in the coming months. Meanwhile, in Canada, the Globe and Mail reports on accusations against the Canadian government for its failure to crack down on unethical and fraudulent immigration consultants. The Conservative Party has raised concerns about why a compliance regime has not yet been implemented, highlighting the involvement of both licensed and unlicensed consultants in scams, including fake acceptance letters and illegal job charges. With the Canada Border Services Agency having charged 153 individuals with fraudulent immigration consultant-related offences in the past 5 years, the urgency for a compliance regime, expected to be in place between fall 2024 and winter 2025, is evident. These narratives, though vastly different in their nature and scope, underscore the global challenges and joys that define our contemporary world. From the heartwarming story of Bluey, the sign, which brings families together through the magic of animation, to the serious legal and ethical issues surrounding immigration policies in Australia and Canada, these stories reflect the diverse tapestry of human experiences. As we navigate the complexities of immigration law and revel in the simple pleasures of animated tales, we are reminded of the importance of compassion, fairness, and the enduring power of storytelling. In a world increasingly polarized by political ideologies and the spread of misinformation, the subject of non-citizen voting in federal elections has once again surfaced, thanks to former President Donald Trump. According to the Associated Press, Trump has rekindled one of his favored narratives, insinuating that immigrants are improperly participating in federal elections. This claim, however, lacks substantial evidence. During a visit with House Speaker Mike Johnson, Trump discussed the introduction of a bill aimed at preventing non-citizens from voting, despite there being no significant indication that non-citizens have voted or will vote in federal elections. This move underscores the recurring theme of baseless conspiracy theories that continue to infiltrate American politics, highlighting a disconnect from the reality of electoral processes. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden is taking a different approach to governance by leveraging executive authority to fulfill his campaign promises, as reported by Bloomberg. With the 2024 election on the horizon and the legislative landscape proving challenging, Biden has embarked on a series of executive actions aimed at addressing critical issues such as student loan debt forgiveness and tightening regulations on firearms sales. These measures, particularly the attempt to close the gun show loophole and consider tightening border security, signify Biden's commitment to appealing to the Democratic base, especially younger voters who have voiced their frustrations with his administration. However, these actions are not without controversy, as they are likely to face legal challenges, raising questions about their durability and effectiveness. Biden's willingness to push the boundaries of executive power reflects a strategic, albeit risky, attempt to deliver on his promises in the face of potential judicial roadblocks. Across the globe in Australia, a different kind of policy shakeup is causing stir among employer groups and industry leaders, as detailed by the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. The Australian government has introduced new job lists designed to prioritise migrants with in-demand skills, conspicuously excluding chefs, cooks, bakers, and managers, along with IT workers, accountants, and hairdressers. This move aims to grant visas to individuals earning over $130,000, regardless of their occupation, in an effort to attract high-skilled migrants. However, this has sparked concerns within the hospitality industry, which relies heavily on migrant workers, particularly chefs and cooks. Stephen Ferguson, the head of the Australian Hotels Association, has voiced apprehension, emphasizing that migration is crucial to the business model of many restaurants and cafes. This policy shift reflects a broader debate on the balance between attracting high-skilled talent and meeting the immediate needs of industries reliant on a diverse range of occupations. These stories, from the United States to Australia, encapsulate the complexities and challenges of modern governance and policymaking in a globalized world. Whether it's addressing the myths surrounding non-citizen voting, navigating the intricacies of executive action in a divided political landscape, or recalibrating migration policies to align with economic needs, governments worldwide are grappling with the task of making decisions that will shape the future of their nations. Each narrative, while unique in its context, underscores the ongoing struggle to balance policy aspirations with practical realities, the pursuit of political objectives with the imperatives of legal and procedural constraints, and the endeavor to fulfill promises in the face of mounting pressures and expectations. In an era where political maneuvers often seem more theatrical than practical, the issue of non-citizen voting has taken center stage, melding two of former President Donald Trump's most cherished themes, election integrity and immigration. According to the Washington Post, House Speaker Mike Johnson, Republican Louisiana, is set to visit Mar-a-Lago, Trump's famed residence, to discuss legislation aimed at curbing non-citizen voting. This move, however, appears to be more about political posturing than addressing a genuine issue. Laws already in place make it illegal for non-citizens to vote, and instances of such voting are exceedingly rare. The real aim seems to be to stir the pot on immigration issues while simultaneously bolstering Trump's bid for a return to the presidency by suggesting that the American electoral system is fraught with problems. On a lighter note, Yahoo US brings us a review of the Celebrity Cruises Visa Signature Card, a financial product that promises to make your next voyage more rewarding. With a welcome bonus of 25,000 MyCruise bonus points, equivalent to $250 in onboard credits, the card is a tempting offer for those bitten by the travel bug. The card rewards its holders with double points on purchases with Celebrity Cruises and Royal Caribbean, and a single point on all other purchases. With no annual fee and an array of perks including discounts on premium beverage packages and private shore excursions, the card is a boon for cruise enthusiasts. The annual anniversary bonus of 10,000 points for those who spend at least $10,000 a year further sweetens the deal, making it an attractive option for frequent cruisers loyal to Celebrity and Royal Caribbean. Meanwhile, in Tennessee, Governor Bill Lee has signed a bill into law that strengthens the state's cooperation with federal immigration authorities. As reported by the Associated Press, starting from July 1, law enforcement agencies in Tennessee will be mandated to communicate with federal authorities regarding individuals found to be in the country illegally. This move is designed to facilitate the identification, detention, and deportation of undocumented individuals. Supporters of the bill argue that it is a step towards better enforcement of immigration laws, while critics fear it could lead to the targeting of immigrant families and confusion due to its broad scope. The law highlights the ongoing national debate over immigration policy and the balance between state and federal responsibilities. These stories, spanning the political, leisure, and legislative spheres, illustrate the diverse ways in which immigration and policy decisions impact not only the fabric of American society but also the individual choices of its citizens. From the halls of Mar-a-Lago, where political strategies are devised, to the decks of cruise ships where vacationers seek escape and adventure, to the corridors of power in Tennessee where new laws are forged, the issue of immigration weaves a complex tapestry, reflecting the myriad perspectives and priorities that shape the United States today. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.